Okay, hello, welcome. Tara's just let me know that we're live. So yeah, I'm Sraddhagita and I'm here in the LBC Shrine Room. Welcome to you if you're joining from the Summer Online Retreat, and welcome also if you're not on the retreat. So it's a mix of people today from different places, from Ireland if you're on the retreat, Cambridge, Sheffield, Brixton, East London, and then there'll be people from all over the world. So yeah, really warm welcome to you, whatever time of day it is where you are. Here it's, well, it's nearly midday. So yeah, and it's hot today, it's a hot day. So if you are practicing outside, you might want to find some shade. In fact, I definitely recommend finding some shade. And do grab your mats, cushions, blocks. If you've got these blocks, they're really good. Yeah, and as I said, I've got Tara here with me doing the tech, which is great. She's going to be doing some yoga here as well, which is always nice, having someone doing the yoga live. And yeah, we were just admiring the shrine, just looking at the flowers, really beautiful flowers today. I was saying I've never seen purple gladioli before, so yeah, we've got the colours of the 3 jewels, which are also on my caser. So we've got the yellow, which represents the Buddha, the purple, well, that's almost blue, isn't it? Represents the Dharma or the truth. And then we've got the red, which represents the Sangha. So yeah, whoever got the flowers probably got them with that in mind, I imagine. Yeah, and we've got the same on the other side. And then we've got some lovely hydrangeas. So yeah, I feel surrounded by flowers, which is very nice. Yeah, and today's practice is called, well, we title all our yoga classes now, partly so people can find them again. So it's called Letting Go. And I'll say a bit more about that when we start. Yep, and if you're on the retreat, you've probably boosted our class today. You've boosted the numbers, so thanks for doing that. And I'm imagining, well, you're probably spending quite a bit of time sitting. You do quite a bit of sitting when you're on retreat. So glad that you can move a bit. And we've also got the yoga later today, which Danutar is going to be doing. So do come back for that if you're on the retreat. That's via Zoom at 5:15. Okay. So I'll just give it another, yeah, maybe half a minute or so, just for anybody who's, yeah, close to the wire, as we say. The great thing about these classes is you can leave it till the last few seconds. And surprisingly, quite a lot of people seem to sneak in the door after we've started. And that's great. I don't mind at all. So yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, so we'll make a start, and welcome again from me. So my name's Sraddhagita, and I'm really glad to be here today and to be practicing with you all, both if you're on the Summer Online Retreat and if you're not on the retreat as well. You may also be tuning in. You might be a regular yogi, but you're not on the retreat, so welcome. Yeah. So as I said, today we're going to be looking a bit at letting go in yoga. So the first thing really is to just let ourselves land onto our mat. So we've got this mat, and we might have been rushing to get here, or we might have just come from work or being on a Zoom call, or we might have been on the retreat. But wherever we've been, just take a moment to land on your mat. It's like you're saying hello to yourself, hello to your body. And notice how your energy is. Notice how the energy is. Maybe, given it's such a hot day, the energy might be feeling a bit sort of tired and droopy. So just notice that. And when we come to practice, what we're doing in a way is we're consciously stepping through a door. So we're stepping through a door onto our yoga mat. So I thought I'd read us a poem called The Door, just to get us in that mood of stepping into our practice, stepping onto our mat. And the poem is by a Czech poet called Miroslav Holub, and it's called The Door. Go and open the door. Maybe outside there's a tree or a wood, a garden or a magic city. Go and open the door. Maybe a dog's rummaging. Maybe you'll see a face or an eye or the picture of a picture. Go and open the door. If there's a fog, it will clear. Go and open the door, even if there's only the darkness ticking, even if there's only the hollow wind, even if nothing is there. Go and open the door. At least there'll be a draft. So yeah, when we open the door, well, at least there'll be a draft. So when we open ourselves to being here, we give whatever's happening in our experience, we give it the opportunity to sort of move through us, really. And we can do that in meditation, but we can also do that in yoga when, you know, we really bring awareness into the yoga practice and it becomes like a moving meditation. The other thing to say about letting go is, I think in order to let go, we need to sort of create, if you like, a very warm, welcoming space. You know, a warm, welcoming awareness, which allows, you know, so we're not trying to keep anything out. We're trying to open to whatever's there. And sometimes when we do that, yeah, it might feel a bit uncomfortable temporarily. But generally what happens is we do then move to a deeper letting go or a deeper state of peace even. You know, one day we might be feeling very strong emotion, might be lots of tears, but then, you know, something's moved and then the next day we feel more peaceful. So letting go is partly about creating this welcoming, warm, allowing space. So whatever comes up, you can just keep trying to welcome it into your experience. And that might be sensations, that might be thoughts, feelings. And a lot of the time, all we need to do is just let them be, and they will just move themselves. Sometimes we can drive ourselves almost a bit crazy by sort of getting too involved in our thoughts and, you know, what's happening. And sometimes if we just let it be, then we're letting it go. And it can, of its own, you know, in its own way, just release. We don't have to always do anything, as it were. Sometimes less is more. And yeah, things can sort of unravel themselves. Or you could say liberate themselves. So we're just going to start with a couple of quieter poses and then we'll move into a few standing poses where we do sort of stand in our strength and we also let go. So we're just going to start seated as we are. We might want to be on one block or two. And we'll just start with just really connecting with the ground, the earth. Consciously trying to really let the awareness drop down into our sitting bones, into our pelvis. And we might take a couple of deeper breaths just to support that. And as we exhale, have this sense of our weight dropping down. And the hips and thighs can often be a place that we hold tensions, store things. So it can be good to just really try and drop down into the sitting bones, let the pelvis drop and release, and the hips. And we will do a few hip opening poses today as well. And then opening our eyes, and we're just going to interlace the fingers, stretch the arms away, and then reach the palms up. So we're reaching up long, we can just move a little bit from side to side, but still trying to keep that connection with the ground. So keeping the sitting bones really plugged into our seat, to the earth. And as we stretch up, we're also rooting down. And in a way, the rooting down allows a deeper stretch up. It's almost like a little rebound effect. So as we root down, we also rise up. So see if you can get a sense of that, rooting down to rise up again. Don't forget to breathe, relax the face. Great, well done. And then we'll just swap the interlace of the fingers and just do that one more time. So stretch the palms away. Again, sway from side to side. Softening the face, softening the shoulders, stretching up, letting the neck be free. Sitting bones really rooted. One more breath. Great. And then slowly release. And then we're going to come on to our hands and knees. So just moving your block, coming on to all fours. And just to wake up the back a little bit and just move the spine. We're just going to do a few cat-cows and also a few side stretches. So you might want to start just by moving from side to side as if you're just wagging your tail, just stretching the side body a little bit. Great. And then on the next inhale, you can lift the chest, lift the sitting bones. And then as you exhale, let the head and tail drop, rounding your spine. So just doing a few of these with your own rhythm of breath. You don't need to follow me and my rhythm, although you can, of course, if you want to. Keep thinking about as you exhale, rounding, and you can draw the navel towards the spine at that point. And on the inhale, lifting the chest and the heart. So a few more of these. Let's just do two more. Last one. And then bringing the spine and the body back to neutral. And then we're going to do a few arm lifts and a little twist. So we're going to lift the left arm up towards the left, turning the chest. And then let that arm sort of slide underneath the right and then come back up again, back into that left twist. So let's do that 3 times. So one more time, turning towards the left. And then letting that left hand slide right under the arm. So the back of the left arm and the shoulder, if possible, comes onto the ground. Stretching the fingers. Breathing here. And then that right hand, you can leave it where it is if that feels like it's supportive for the pose and you feel you need that there. Or if you feel okay, you can also take that hand off the floor and bring it onto the sacrum. And take a few breaths here, breathing into the shoulder, which can get a bit tight. Breathing into the intercostal area, between the ribs, creating more space there. 2 more breaths. Softening, releasing, letting go. And then bring the right hand back down onto the mat, bring the left hand back. And then we'll do the other side, so lifting the right arm up towards the right, turning the chest, and then scooping that arm underneath the left. So 3 of those, turning towards the right, and then scooping, going under that arm towards the left. Last one. And this time letting the right arm come down onto the floor, so it's the back of the arm, the back of the shoulder, stretching out the fingers, keeping the hips as level as you can. And then either being on your left hand next to the face, or you can take that hand off the ground and bring it onto the sacrum, either with the palm on the sacrum, or you could turn it. And this shoulder might be a bit tighter than the other one, so just be aware of that. And if it is, you might need to slightly back off on this side. Might need to just adjust a little bit, finding a more comfortable place. And then see if you can create this welcoming space, this warm, allowing space. Breathing, softening, letting go. 1 more breath. Great. And then left hand comes down, right hand comes back again. And then we're going to tuck our toes and come into a downward dog, drawing the hips up and back. Coming on to the balls of the feet, stretching the heels, stretching the legs. And then you can pedal your feet a little bit here. Stretching the heels back alternately. Really feeling into the legs and lifting the sitting bones up and back as if you're brightening them to the back of the room. Pressing the base of the index finger down, and you can widen the hands a little bit if you need a bit more space for your shoulders. And then let's bring the knees down, bring the chest forward, lower ourselves down, scoop through, and then come into a low cobra. So just bringing the hands onto the floor, lifting the shoulders, lower back, and then wave down, forehead to the ground. And then pressing the feet into the floor, pressing the legs, the pubic bone, lift up 1 more time and release. And then last time, lifting up. Keep the elbows bent, rolling the shoulders back and release. And then hands come down, back through all fours and back into a downward dog. So letting go in this pose, can you find some ease here? Letting go through the connection that your hands have with the ground, your feet have with the ground. And then we're going to step forward with our left foot. So stepping the left foot forward and dropping the right knee down into a low lunge. And then scoop the arms forward and up. And bring the arms parallel above your head. And you might even go a bit further into a back bend if that feels okay. But if your back's pinching, just bring the arms a bit straighter. Breathing here. Maybe you might extend that front foot a little bit. You might edge it forward, creating a deeper stretch in the thighs. Breathing. And then bring the palms together, and we're going to bring our right elbow across the left knee. So lifting up out of, away from the legs, looking down first of all at your foot for a bit of stability, and then you can turn towards the left. Breathing, pressing the palms together, lifting the belly away from the thigh. One more breath. Great. And then hands down, step back again into a downward dog. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So this time stepping the right foot down, left knee comes down, scoop the arms forward and up, stretching the arms back, if that's okay on your back, maybe edging the toes forward into the lunge. Check the knee is not overshooting your ankle. Breathing here, opening the chest, welcoming whatever's coming up, whatever's there. Breathing with it. And then palms together, left elbow, cross right knee. First of all, looking down at your foot. And as you do that, and as you press the foot into the ground, it's like you're lifting up out of the pelvis. Back is nice and long, and then you can start to turn towards the right. Breathing, softening, feeling the connection of the hands with each other, the feet with the ground. One more breath. Great. You might be dripping with the heat. So I certainly am. So just notice that, and then come back to the lunge, and then step back into downward dog, walking out the legs. And then let's do another cobra. So bring the knees down, lower the chest, scoop through. You might want to be on spider fingers this time as you lift up. Pressing the pubic bone down, shoulders roll back down. And then head down. And come back into downward dog. And then we're going to walk the feet forward between our hands, lengthen there. Lift the chest, lengthen forwards, nice long neck, and then exhale, fold in towards your legs. Take hold of your elbows for a moment, soften the knees if you need to, bending the knees. And let the back release, let the head release. Letting the weight drop down through your feet. Letting go into the ground. And then from that connection with the earth, we're going to rise up again. So really pressing the feet, the toes into the ground, and then circling our arms and coming all the way up and bringing the hands to the heart. And we're going to do a few bird flocks, as they're called. So that's lifting the arms up on the inhale. And then as we exhale, bending the knees, touching the ground. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And as you exhale, really connecting with the earth, letting the feet be firmly planted on the earth. A few more of these. So we're not going to do sun salutations today, it's a bit too hot, but we are doing these bird flocks. So gathering, like we're gathering birds or we're opening our wings. A few more of these, really dropping the awareness into the feet, into the earth. And then the next time we touch the ground, staying there, taking hold of our elbows again, letting the head release, letting the back release, bending the knees. Long exhale, really releasing. And then again, circling the arms all the way up as we inhale, reaching up and then bringing the hands to the heart. And then we're going to take a step back into a high lunge. So we're going to step back with our right foot and just come onto the ball of the right foot, okay? So it's almost like we're sort of bouncing here. So lifting that heel, and then we're going to lift the arms up. Just be here for a couple of breaths. Opening the chest again. And then bring the hands onto the waist for a minute. And with that back heel, we're going to plant it down, but we're still going to try and keep the hip facing forward. So planting the heel down, at the same time turning the hips so that they're at towards the front of the mat, the small edge. You might need to slightly widen your legs onto like railway tracks, that might help. And then we're going to sweep the arms up into warrior one. Breathing, softening. Couple more breaths. Trying to release through the thighs, lifting the back thigh a little bit if it's tending to drop. And then bringing the hands down to the heart, lifting the back heel again, maybe edging it back a little bit more. And we're going to try and bring our right elbow now across the left knee. So we've done this before with the low lunge. And if this does feel too much, then bring the knee back down again. That's fine. You might want to look at your foot first of all to find the balance. And think about lengthening up out of the pelvis and then turning. Don't forget you can bring the right knee down if it feels, your balance feels precarious. 2 more breaths, well done, you're doing great. Smiling, releasing, breathing, welcoming. 1 more breath. And then hands down, step back, downward dog. Walk out the legs. You might need to adjust your hands a bit more. You might walk them back a little bit just to make a bit more space on your mat. And now you can either do knees, chest and chin as we've been doing. You can carry on doing that, or you can come forward into a plank. So that means coming up onto the balls of your feet, bringing the chest forward. Just hold it there for a moment or two, and then you can lower yourself down into chaturanga and then either cobra or up dog. And then back into downward dog. A few breaths here. And then we're going to step our right foot forward into the high lunge. So the left heel is off the ground. First of all, finding the connection with the earth through the right foot and the left ball of the foot. And we might be on our fingertips, first of all, lifting that back thigh a little bit. And then we can take the hands off the ground if we feel stable. Lift the arms, open the chest. 2 breaths. Great. And then we're going to plant that back heel down, but sometimes it's good to just bring the hands down onto the waist as we do that, so we feel a bit more stable. So planting that back heel down and turning that left hip around to the front. And if necessary, widening our stance. And really taking up this space of the warrior one, so we're really connected with the earth, feeling our strength, lifting that back thigh, and then sweeping the arms up again and looking up, opening the chest. And if there's any pinching in your back, then just slightly straighten that front leg so you're not bending so deeply. 2 more breaths. Reaching up with the arms and the hands. And then bringing the hands together at the heart. Again, pivot on that back ball of the foot so you come up onto the heel. Maybe edge the front toes forward. Bring the left elbow around where the right knee is, looking down at your right foot. And if you need to drop that left knee to turn, that's fine. Or if you can keep that back left leg actively straight and the heel moving back, then do that. Lifting the belly away from the thigh, finding a little bit more rotation, softening the face and the jaw, softening the brow. 1 more breath. Great, fantastic. And then hands down, step the right foot back, walk out the legs. And it might be that you bend and straighten the legs. It could be like a little bounce, so you sort of bounce forward, straightening, and then you go back, bending the legs. That's quite nice to do in this pose. And then you can either come through knees, chest, and chin, or come through a plank, and then lower ourselves down, up dog, and down dog. And then you can let the knees drop down for a moment, widening the knees, letting the hips and buttocks move back towards the heels, stretching the arms in front of you. Let the elbows come down, chest softens, forehead moving towards the ground, releasing, softening, welcoming. Two more breaths here. And then slowly, your own time, walking the hands back, bringing the knees together. And just for a moment, sitting in a kneeling position and just feeling the body and the breath, feeling the effect of the poses, noticing how the body feels. Maybe you feel really hot. Just notice that. Breathing, softening, welcoming. We're going to come down onto our backs, so just bring the feet forward. I'm going to come into a few hip stretches. So for the first one, you might need a block under your head. I quite like a block under my head for this one. So I'm going to lift up my right leg and bring the ankle across my left knee. So I've got a window between my legs. And this might be enough. This is a stretch for the hip. We can draw that right knee away. And you can feel the stretch in the inner thigh and the outer hip. Or you can do a bit more if you want to. You can bring your right hand and arm through that window to meet the left arm and hand behind the left thigh. So flexing the feet here, drawing the right knee away, drawing the left knee towards the shoulder, and it may be miles away, mine is, but maybe not miles, but quite away. And at the same time, let the thigh press into the hands and breathe here. Letting any tensions in the thighs and the hips release. And then let the left foot come down. And if you've got some support under your head, just move that back for a moment because it's not so good in a twist. Bring the arms into a kind of cactus shape and then let the legs turn to the left. So you're going to get the outer left leg on the ground and your right foot is going to come onto the ground. You could press that right knee away a little bit if you want to with your left hand. And if you can, look to the right. That's okay on your neck. So coming into a twist. And again, releasing here, softening. One more breath. And then slowly bringing the legs back. And we'll do the same on the other side. So if you've got, or you had some support under your head, you can bring that back again. This time lift the left leg in the air, bring the ankle over the right knee. Right foot's on the ground. Let that left knee and hip move away from the body. And then draw the right knee towards the body, towards the shoulder. Pressing the right back of the thigh into the hands. Shoulders, if possible, staying on the ground. So you're not causing tension in your shoulders by trying to pull the legs closer. Better to keep the shoulders down and maybe not be able to bring the legs quite so close. So finding an edge, breathing with the edge, welcoming, softening, allowing, opening the door to whatever's there. One more breath. And then bringing the right foot down this time. And you can move your support again from behind your head. Arms can be in a kind of cactus shape. And this time let the right leg move outwards. Left foot comes down to the ground. You could press that left knee away with your right hand and turn towards the left. That's okay on your neck. Couple more breaths. And then slowly coming back to center. We'll come into a happy baby pose. So I'm going to lift the legs, keeping the knees bent, feet soles of the feet pointing towards the ceiling, and we can widen the legs a bit. We might be able to take hold of our toes quite easily, or the inner foot or the outer foot, or it might be the ankles or the shins. So again, you don't want to cause tension in your shoulders by trying to pull yourself up here. So keep the back and the head on the ground. And you might want to sway a little bit from side to side, opening through the belly and the pelvis. And see if you can soften the face, the jaw. And you might get a few little shaky releases of energy in the inner legs. Just letting that be, letting that move through you. All those tensions stored in the hips and the pelvis and the thighs can slowly release. And you can move, as I say, from side to side, or you can just keep still for a little bit as well. Couple more breaths, really exhaling fully. And then slowly release and bringing the knees together. And you might want to just gently circle the knees away from each other and then back together a few times. And then you can let your feet drop down to the mat and let the knees just drop together for a moment. So this time, your inner thighs and your legs and hips are rotating internally. And let the sacrum release. Let the body grow heavy. And then you can either stay in that position if you've got a sensitive lower back, or you can start to stretch the legs out for Shavasana. And you can let the feet drop away from each other. You could either have the hands alongside the body, heavy like the legs, or you can place them on the belly, or one on the heart, one on the belly. And just notice how you feel at the end of the class. Being aware of anything that's moved through you. There might still be things there that you're experiencing that haven't moved so much. See if you can still create that welcoming space, that open space. And let yourself rest now as well. Let the body rest on the earth. And let the mind rest. And let the breath blow through the body like a breeze. Letting it blow through all the doors and windows of the body. And then very gradually starting to bring a little bit of movement back into your fingers and your toes. So giving them a little stretch. Stretch the hands and the feet. Maybe stretch the arms and the legs so that you take up a bigger space, and you could take a yawn or two if that feels like that's what you want to do. Oh, sometimes it can feel like you've woken up from a little siesta. And then you can place the feet on the ground. Of course, if you have got time to stay for a longer Shavasana, then feel free to do that. But if you need to stick with the 45 minutes, then it's nice to turn onto the side for a moment, resting there. And then slowly helping yourself up from there. We'll just sit for a minute or so to end the class. So sit up on your blocks again. And just take a moment to just feel the breath in the body in this seated position, this seated posture. And also just take a moment to appreciate the effort that you made to get here today to do yoga. And also that you probably had some experience of letting go. Even if that was just letting go a little bit. Letting go is a process. There's layers of letting go, build up over years. But each time we practice yoga, we can start to let go a little bit more. And then slowly opening the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks to Tara for being here to do the tech support. Thanks if you tuned in from the retreat, and I hope it was a little, nice slot in the middle of your retreat day, a good stretch for the body after all that sitting. And if you've tuned in and you're not on the retreat, well, I hope it was a good little stretch in between morning and afternoon of work or whatever you're doing, especially on this hot day. It's really nice to do a little bit at least. So we're going to be doing a yoga intensive again in a couple of weeks' time. So myself and Dani Uttar are going to be doing that, and that will be starting on the 24th of August. So do look out for that. That's mornings, 7:30 till 9, and also late afternoon, early evening, 5:15 to 6:15. So you'll need to book for that, but you'll see it on our website soon and on social media, and you can look out for that. And it'd be great if some of you wanted to do that, especially if you've been on the retreat. It's a good way of carrying on with something after the retreat. And it's also a good way if you've been tuning into some of these classes and want to do a bit more yoga now, then that's a really good thing to do. So I hope some of you can do that. And also, yeah, we're doing all these things as a kind of offering, really. And if you're able to help us with just providing more and more yoga for more and more people, reaching out to more people, then you could give a donation, which would really be helpful for us if you're able to. You've got the means to. It's a great way of supporting us here at the centre to keep doing yoga. So Tara will put a link in the chat box, and yeah, you can click on that link if you want to and are able to give. And it'll be very appreciated. Okay, so we'll leave it there for today, and yeah, really hope to see you all again soon, and hope the rest of the retreat goes really well and that you all have a really good rest of the day.